Are the awards being given out fair, or do they create disappointment? At the Tangsel Population and Civil Registration Office, employee awards are often seen as not being objective. Decisions based on personal opinions create gaps, feelings of disappointment, and lower motivation at work. Our solution: the Analytic Hierarchy Process Method. aa.HP is a scientific approach that measures performance objectively, ensuring fair and data-driven awards. With AHP, we transform towards transparent and motivating awards. We proudly present the panelists who will delve deeper into the AHP technique for selecting the best employees: Dr. Sewaka, MM, aa.iwan.setiawan, Muhammad Wahyudi, Sri Wahyuni, and Yoyoh Cikayanti. Stay tuned for an insightful discussion.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity to present our research. We, the research team, are here to share the finding of our study titled Analytic Hierarchy Process Method for Determining the Best Employee, a study at the Population and Civil Registration Office of South Tangerang City. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to Dr. Sewaka for his exceptional guidance in understanding and applying the AHP method. Although he is not presenting with us today, his knowledge and teachings have been instrumental in shaping this research. This study focuses on applying the AHP method to determine the best employee at the Population and Civil Registration Office of South Tangerang City using a more objective and systematic approach. This research was conducted by 5 researchers who play key roles in its development and implementation. Dr. Insinyur Sewaka MM, who provided exceptional guidance in understanding and applying the AHP method. aa.iwan.setiawan, the lead author and methodology developer. Muhammad Wahyudi, who focused on data analysis and insight. Sri Wahyuni, responsible for data processing and research outcomes. And the last, Yoyoh Cikayanti, who handled testing and validation of the result. I will begin by briefly and comprehensively discussing several key sections of our research. First, let us begin with the abstract of the study. Next, we will delve into the introduction of this research. Then, we will review the literature that underpins this study. Following that, I will explain the research methodology we employed. Finally, I will present the hierarchical structure of AHP used in our research. Thank you, and let's get started. Determining the best employees is very important to increase work motivation. Selection subjectively is a prevalent issue that might impact employee motivation. For objective assessment, this work intends to create the decision support system based on the analytical hierarchy process. The accuracy of the judgment is guaranteed by the test result, which indicate that the consistency ratio and consistency index value are less than 0.1. Era of the Industrial Revolution 4.0 and Digital Transformation 2024, the analytical hierarchy process is a vital decision support system method for multi-criteria decision making that enhance objectively and efficiency by systematically addressing subjectively, as exemplified in its implementation at the Population and Civil Registration Office of South Tangerang City to widely and accurately select the best employees. According to Wahyudi 2023, the analytical hierarchy process enables More objective and structured evaluation in decision-making involving multiple alternatives, leading to more accurate decision. Wahyudi 2021 adds that EHP simplifies decision-making by breaking down problems into components, organizing them hierarchically, assigning numerical weight, and synthesizing judgment to determine priorities. The concept of EHP was originally developed by Thomas Louis Satie in the 1970, providing a systematic approach for making complex decisions. This study uses a quantitative, descriptive, and evaluative methodology as described by Sugiono 2022. It involves collecting numerical data through interviews with key officials to establish criteria and priority tasks using the analytical hierarchy process, designed to provide an objective assessment of employees and addressing real-world workplace issues. The image illustrates the hierarchical structure of the analytical hierarchy process method for selecting the best employee at the Population and Civil Registration Office of South Tangerang City. Below is a detailed explanation. Number 1, goal. The primary objective is selection of the best employee at the Population and Civil Registration Office of South Tangerang City using the analytical hierarchy process method. This represents the main purpose of the EHP process to identify the best performing employee. Number 2, criteria. 4 criteria are utilities to evaluate employee performance. The criteria is discipline, communication, achievement, and length of service. Number 3 is candidate alternative. 4 employees are considered as candidates for the best employee selection. Number 1, Iwan Setiawan. Number 2, Oktiviana Prasetyawati. Number 3, Yudi Sanjaya Putra. And number 4, Fauzia Nur Halimah. The last, relationship between criteria and alternative. Outline connecting each criterion to the candidates represent the evaluation process. Each candidate is assessed against all 4 criteria. The colors of the line might indicate the weight of priority of each candidate in relation to specific criteria. When applying the analytical hierarchy process, the hierarchical structure is crucial for mapping and examining the several criteria that serve as the foundation for decision making. The hierarchical structure with priority level divided according to pertinent criteria and subcriteria is depicted in Figure 1. The study's conclusion and analysis in this section cover the hierarchical framework that is employed to rank the best solution in order of importance. The study also discussed the validity of the data collected from interviews with key informant. The outcome of the analytical hierarchy process analysis aid in the development of suitable solution for professional issue and offer a deeper comprehension of the elements that affect decision making.
Table 1. Basic scale of paired comparison. The table consists of 3 columns. First, the level of interest. The second is meaning. The third, an explanation. For the first row, level of interest consists of number 1. The meaning is both aspects are equally significant, and the explanation possesses the same word. The second row, for the level of interest, consists of number 3. The meaning is one factor is marginally more significant than the others. For the explanation, one value is marginally more than the others. The third row, level of interest, consists of number 5. The meaning is one component is more significant than the others. The explanation: one element value is crucial in relation to other elements. The fourth row, the level of interest consists of number 7. The meaning is clearly one component is more significant than the others. The explanation: one component is significantly more significant than the other. The fifth row, level of interest consists number 9. The meaning is one component is far more significant than the others. The explanation: one component is more absolute than the others. And for the sixth row, the level of interest consists of number 2, 4, 6, and 8. The meaning is values from neighboring consideration, and the explanation: negotiation or compromise is needed. For the explanation of Table 1, using a simple scale of paired comparisons, the analytical hierarchy process method evaluate and contrast element in a hierarchical structure according to their relative value. Table 1 shows a paired comparison scale used to determine the level of significance of a particular element. This scale is an extremely useful tool for figuring out which criterion and sub-criteria should be given priority during the decision-making process, based on the study finding and discussion. By using this scale, researchers can make recommendations that are more accurate and in line with the needs of the organization. Next goes to table number 2, comparison matrix of 4 criteria. The table consists of 5 columns, with the first column consists of criteria, the second column is discipline, the third column is communication, the fourth column is achievement, and the fifth column length of service. Table number 2 also consists of 4 row data. First data is about discipline, the second data is about communication, the third data is achievement, and the fourth data is length of service. Refer to table number 2, display the matrix of comparisons between the 4 criteria employed in the study. In order to ascertain the relative weight of each criterion in the analytical hierarchy process analysis, a paired evaluation process was conducted, which produced this matrix. In the result and discussion of the study, this matrix is very important to show how the relationship between criteria affect each other in the decision-making process. In the matrix, each value indicates the relative importance or priority of each criterion that has been analyzed. These values are used to calculate the priority weight of each criterion. Therefore, this comparison matrix is very important to gain a better understanding of the components that form the final decision of the study and to find the most appropriate solution to the problem at hand. Next goes to the table number 3, criteria value matrix. The table number 3 consists of 8 columns. First column consists of criteria, second column is discipline, the third column is communication, the fourth column is achievement, the fifth column is length of service, the sixth column is total, the seventh column is priority, and the eighth column is agent value. For the data row consists of 4 data. First data row consists of discipline, the second is communication, the third is achievement, and the fourth is length of service. And there are also a formula CI equals to alpha max minus n divided to n01. For the information, CI means index of consistency, the alpha max means is agent value maximum of the matrix of pairwise comparison, and the n refers to the number of element or criteria in the matrix. Refer to the formula and the table data, we can conclude the CI equals to 4.238 minus 4 divided with 4 minus 1 equal to 0.238 divided with 3 equals to 0.079. Next goes to table number 4, index of randomness or RI. And this table consists of 2 columns. With the first column, the number of elements or criteria in the matrix, or we call it N, and the second column, index of randomness, or we can call it RI. In the number of elements or criteria in the matrix, or N, consists of from number 1 until 15, and the index of randomness start from 0.00 until 1.59. Particularly in the AHP method, table 4 displays the random index or RI value that is utilized to gauge consistency in the pairwise comparison procedure. This RI is calculated based on the number of criteria involved in the comparison matrix, and the more criteria used, the greater the RI required to maintain consistency. In the study, the RI value used to measure consistency in pairs in the matrix is 4. With 4 criteria, the random index or RI is equal to 0.90. To ensure that the comparison is made in the analytical hierarchy process or AHP, analysis remain valid and reliable and to provide a solid basis for decision making. The RI value is essential. Next, we can calculate the consistent ratio of consistency. There is a formulation CR equal to CI divided with RI. For the information, CR refer to consistent ratio of consistency, the CI refer to index of consistency, and the RI refer to index of randomness. Refer to the calculation before and the formulation. We can calculate CR equals to 0.079 divided with 0.90 equals to 0.09 or consistent. Proficient. First, the equality of the weight values assigned to the various criteria is known as consistency. Second, the consistency of the hierarchy is acceptable if the CI divided with CR score is less than 10%. Third, the data judgment assessment needs to be improved if the CI or CR value is more than 10%. Fourth, the consistent matrix is 1 where the CR value is less than or equal to 0.1. Fifth, the matrix is deemed inconsistent if the CR value is more than 0.1.
Okay, next, ladies and gentlemen, we will discuss about first, comparison matrix on discipline subcriteria. Second, comparison matrix on communication subcriteria. Third, comparison matrix and achievement subcriteria. And fourth, comparison matrix on length of service subcriteria. Okay, start. We're gonna discuss about the table 5. The evaluation of discipline subcriteria in the organization is thoroughly examined in table 5 and 6, which employ comparison and value metrics to show the degree of discipline in managed area. Table 5 compare several subcriteria, namely less discipline, discipline, very discipline, and too discipline, which are calculated based on the relative relationships between the categories, the result of the comparison matrix. Next, Table 6, Discipline Subcriteria Value Matrix. In addition, Table 6 produce the findings by calculating the priority value and agent value of each discipline subcriteria. This provides of a better understanding of how important each category is in determining the overall level of discipline. The result of this analysis will be used to determine which part needs to be improved to improve discipline in an effort of increased productivity and work effectiveness in company. The result CI is 0.085. RI, the result is 0.90, and last CR is 0.09. The meaning is consistent. Next, Table 7, Comparison Matrix of Communication Subcriteria. It is very important to assess the level of activeness of communication in the organization. The analysis of communication subcriteria is presented in Table 7 and Table 8. Table 7 display a comparison matrix between several communication categories, namely is less communication, communicative, very communicative, and too communicative. The result of the matrix show a qualitative assessment of each subcriteria in terms of communication quality. Table 8, Communication Subcriteria Value Matrix. Table 8 expands this matrix by calculating the agent values and priority values for each category. This shows how much influence each subcategory has on overall communication. The result of this analysis indicate that we know a better quality of organization communication. This understanding will be used to find which areas need to be improved to enhance the quality of interaction between members of the organization. CI is 0.079. RI is 0.90 and CR is 0.09. The meaning is consistent. Table 9, Comparison Metric of Achievement Subcriteria. An important factor in assessing the quality on contribution of individual performance in the organization is performance subcriteria, which are thoroughly analyzed in Table 9 and Table 10. Table 9 show how comparison matrix between 4 performance categories, namely bad, good, very good, and too good, which show the relative relation between the subcriteria based on the expected level of performance. This matrix show how one performance category correlates with the other categories and show how much performance improvement is seen in the overall context. Next, Table 10, Matrix of Subcriteria Achievement Values. The priority value and agent value of each subcriteria are then determined in Table 10, which further the study. This display each category's relative weight in the overall performance evaluation. The results show that we have a better understanding of the components that most influence performance and achievement and which part mainly needs more attention to improve organizational performance more efficiently. The result is CI is 0.037, RI is 0.90 and CR is 0.04. The meaning is consistent. Next, Table 11, Comparison Matrix on Length of Service Subcriteria. Table 11 and 12 provide a comprehensive analysis of the subcriteria of length of service, which is an important component in assessing the experience and contribution of the workforce in a company. Table 11 display a comparison matrix between the categories new, old, very old, and too long, which show the relationship between the categories based on the length of service related to work productivity and effectiveness. Table 12, Matrix Subcriteria Values for Length of Service. Table 12 illustrates the additional analysis conducted by calculating the priority values and agent values of each subcriteria. This provides a relative value for each category in assessing the effect of length of service and overall performance. The result gives us a better understanding of how length of service affect an individual's performance and contribution. They also indicate areas where improvement can be made to enhance employee contribution to the organization through better work experience management. The result is CI is 0.084, RI is 0.90, CR is 0.09. The meaning is consistent.
Here is a view of Table 13, which contains 4 criteria and 16 sub-criteria make up the priority value matrix. The first is the discipline criterion, which has a priority value of 0.091. Then, discipline has 4 sub-criteria, namely less discipline, which has a priority value of 0.124, and discipline, which has a priority value of 0.154, then very discipline, which has a priority value of 0.316, and 2 discipline, which is 0.406. Then, there are 3 more criterion, namely communication, achievement, and lack of service. From each of these criteria, there are 4 sub-criteria and different priority values. The priority value matrix summarizing the evaluation result for the 4 main criteria and 16 sub-criteria analyzed previously and present in the table 13. For each criterion, discipline, communication, achievement, and lack of service, a certain priority level is assigned. This priority level indicates how much influence each has on the overall assessment. In this table, a lower priority value indicates that the criterion of sub-criterion has a smaller impact on the performance evaluation. Conversely, a higher priority value indicates that the criterion or sub-criterion has a greater impact. Specifically, the criteria too low, too communicative, too good, and too disciplined were given higher priority values, indicating that higher quality in these elements tends to have a greater impact on one's performance assessment. These results provide important insight into the most influential components in managing. Okay, we will continue to Table 14, display the comparison matrix of the best employee choice alternative. Here, Table 14 shows the evaluation result of the 4 best employee candidates, namely Iwan Setiawan, Okiviana Prasetyawati, Yudi Sanjaya Putra, and Fauzia Nur Halimah, based on the criteria and sub-criteria of discipline, communication, achievement, and lack of service. This analysis shows a comparison of the performance of each candidate, where Iwan Setiawan won the top position thanks to an excellent assessment of the discipline and tenure sub-criteria, and Fauzia Nur Halimah won the second position, which shows excellence in the discipline and tenure sub-criteria. And finally, Table 15 contains the final result matrix of the best employee selections. The final result metric of the best employee evaluation is made using 4 sub-criteria: discipline, communication, achievement, and lack of service. This is based on the result of the analysis conducted using the analytic hierarchy process. The table displays the overall score for each sub-criteria. Iwan Setiawan was ranked as the best employee with a total score of 0.384, placing him in the first position. Fauzia Nur Halimah ranked second with a total score of 0.224. Okiviana Prasetyawati ranked third with a total score of 0.176, and Yudi Sanjaya Putra ranked fourth with a total score of 0.129. The assessment results show that Iwan Setiawan has a significant advantage, especially in the working period sub-criteria, which contributes greatly to his total score. Meanwhile, each of the other employees also has advantage in certain sub-criteria, which become evaluation materials for further development. Okay, the conclusion of our research is a study on the use of decision support system based on the analytical hierarchy process to identify the top worker at Tangerang City South Population and Civil Registration Service has yielded a number of findings, including AHP effectively resolved subjectivity in employee evaluation and make the process more systematic, unbiased, and data-driven. The study developed a hierarchical structure grouping primary criteria like discipline, communication, achievement, and lack of service, along with related sub-criteria such as discipline and communication skills. Consistency tests confirm the reliability of AHP judgment, with CI is 0.079 and CR is 0.09, indicating acceptable consistency. The study highlights AHP's ability to identify the top performing staff objectively, ensures transparent and fair evaluation while minimizing bias. The researcher recommend continued use and development of AHP for employee assessment and suggests its adoption by other institutions seeking objective assessment system. We would like to extend our sincere gratitude to the following individuals and organizations for their assistance and effective support of our research. First, Dr. Andes Haji Dedi Budiawan MM, head of the Dukcapil Service of South Tangerang City, has taken the time to conduct interviews and provide important insight and information, which greatly helped this research run smoothly. Second, Secretary of the Department, Haji Dwi Suryani MSI, has provided very useful and relevant explanations that have broadened our understanding of the topic discussed. Third, Zeki Amani, head of General and Personal subsections, presently and attentively provided very important information to ensure the completeness of the research data. In conclusion, I want to thank each of you for taking the time to attend this presentation and for your attention throughout. I hope the information shared today has been valuable and insightful.